And debating this evening with me are GVL Narasimha Rao, National Spokesperson of the BJP, RSN Singh, Defence Analyst, Maruf Raza, Consulting Editor of Times Now, Ratan Sharda, RSS Thinker, Dr. John Dayal, Human Rights Activist, Dr. Fuad Halim, Spokesperson of the CPIM, Alimuddin Khan, Political Analyst. And my first question goes out to Irfan Hafiz Loan, lawyer and activist, joining me live from Srinagar. The question, remember Irfan Hafiz Loan tonight, and the hashtag is Army Se Gaddari. Let me read out what Partha Chatterjee wrote in his article that appeared on The Wire. And this is what he said. There are chilling similarities between the justifications advanced for the actions of the British Indian Army in Punjab in 1919 and those being offered today in defense of the acts of the Indian Army in Kashmir. My question to you is, Irfan Hafiz Loan, how can you compare the two incomparables? The British Army was an occupying force in India. The Indian Army is not an occupying force in Jammu and Kashmir. It is a force that is there for the security of the people. It is there to fight the terrorists because Jammu and Kashmir gets the maximum amount of infiltration from across the border. And it takes care of the people. And look at the kind of work that the army has also done in grave human tragedies like the floods in Jammu and Kashmir. How can you compare the British Army to the Indian Army in Kashmir?
Navika, let me tell you, be it Indian Army, be it paramilitary forces, or any other limb of the government, in Kashmir, majority of the people consider them as illegal occupiers. They say it's a military occupation.
Illegal occupiers? You won't be able to live for a single day, Irfan Hafiz Loan, if the Indian Army doesn't secure the borders. How are they illegal occupiers?
Navika, let me complete. This is the majority view in Kashmir, that this is the illegal occupation. This is the military. India here in Kashmir is
illegal occupation. Colonel RSN Singh, is it an illegal occupation?
Yes.
By the Indian Army in Jammu and Kashmir?
Navika, let me complete. Navika, this is not fair, Navika. I will just.
How can you complete when you make such a blatantly wrong statement? How can I allow you to complete? You're making a blatantly wrong statement. How can I allow you to complete? How is it?
Navika,
on what grounds? On what grounds is it an illegal occupation? They've not occupied any civilian area. They are where they are supposed to be under the AFSPA.
In 1947, Pandit Nehru took it to United Nations. In 1947, Pandit Nehruji took Kashmir to United Nations. In 1953, elected Prime Minister of J&K was arrested. Okay, and the government of India time and again reiterated its stand that they will resolve the Kashmir, thereby meaning Kashmir is a political problem, but they never resolved it. Now let me tell you why Indian forces are considered here, General Dyer. If you ask your cameraman to focus, to pan on these pictures. Navika, can you see these pictures? Navika, can you see these pictures?
We don't want to see the pictures which are not...
You see, I tell you why they are General Dyer. You see, please ask your cameraman to pan on this, to focus on this. You see,
we don't know what you're showing. You are saying it's an illegally occupying force. Maruf Raza is the Indian Army. Would you like to correct Mr. Irfan Hafiz Loan, who's calling General Bipin Rawat, likening him to General Dyer, and calling the Indian Army an illegally occupying force in Jammu and Kashmir? He's talking through his hat.
Navika, just a few facts. While Mr. Loan could not complete his...
Once it comes to Kashmir,
Mr. Loan...
Once it comes to Kashmir, yes, they are worse than General Dyer.
Mr. Loan, okay, you've made your point. You could have made a longer point, but we've got the essence of what you're trying to say. Now, Navika, let me respond. The first thing is, the term illegal occupation is something which has come to be used of late. But if you go by the UN resolutions that Loan Saab himself mentioned that India took the issue to the UN, it allows India and doesn't allow Pakistan, please remember, to keep any forces for the security of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and this was also part of the arrangements under which Kashmir acceded to India.
India and
that
Pakistan
security,
should agree.
communicate, sir. Loan Saab, you've made your point. You've made your point.
No, sir,
Loan Saab, you have made your point. The obligation to vacate was with Pakistan. Loan Saab, Loan Saab, will you let either you make your long drawn out speech and all of us just give you the platform to do it. You want to debate, you've made a point, I'm giving you a counterpoint, and I'm speaking on the basis of historical facts. However, the UN resolution, suddenly you people have begun to swear by it, but your leaders in the recent memory have overlooked the UN resolution and allowed the Shimla Pact, which bypasses the UN resolution, to become the defining arrangement between India and Pakistan. But I'll go more specifically to the issue Ramika is talking about. Navika, there are 3 points that stick out. Point 1, as far as conflicts go today, the conflicts of today are the kind of conflicts we have to live with. Whether it is battling stone throwers, whether it is battling terrorists, whether it is battling cross-border infiltration, these are the wars of today. If those senior military officers and apologists who have come on board and said that Major Gogoi was wrong and are expecting that last gentleman's war of 65 or 71 to be reenacted, they have completely lost sight of the changing realities on the ground. Therefore, current conflicts, as General Rawat said, require innovative approaches and solutions, and Gogoi used that. The other choice was to take lives to prevent himself from being lynched to death and his team. If he had done that, maybe some politicians might have been happy because it would have given another reason for them to rabble-rouse against India. The second point to understand is that those who continue... Sir,
Major Gogoi is just tip of the iceberg.
And just let me make my point. Loan Saab, let me make my... Loan Saab, please. Loan Saab,
we have seen countless atrocities and brutalities.
Loan Saab, don't speak over me. Are Irfan Hafiz Loan, will you shut up?
I am telling you.
Can you please let somebody speak?
You shut up.
You want to bloody well rattle on and become a hero in Kashmir? Then get out of this show. We don't want your bloody commentary. We've had enough of it. I don't know why you get invited on this channel. You are not capable of making a civilized debate. I don't want to hear all the crap you weave out day in and day out. Because all of you, you call yourself National Conference, you're bloody anti-national conference. You're a bunch of sellouts. Your leaders and your spokesperson. You don't want to hear any logical explanation to what the question that is being asked. Propaganda करना है तो वहाँ पे रैली कीजिए श्रीनगर में और जाकिर मूसा जैसा कोई बंदा आके आपको लटकाएगा लाल चौक के ऊपर. यहाँ बकवास मत करिए.
People of Kashmir are thankful to you people. At every moment you give new leads.
We don't need their gratitude. Mr. Loan, we don't need their gratitude. Please try, if you are there in a debate, understand the subject and respond to that. Don't talk out of context. Don't talk out of context. Understand the subject. You have nothing to contribute, then be sensible enough to keep shut.
By Indian Army. General Rawat Saab, as a person, is a good human.
मैं आपको बताता हूँ काउंटर मैसेकर का. आपने जितने allegations दिए हैं,
आपकी सर्टिफिकेट की जरूरत नहीं है. आप उन्हें जनरल डायर बुलाते हैं और फिर कहते हैं कि he is a good human being. Nobody needs your certificate, Irfan Hafiz.
Otherwise, just keep talking to him. Don't ask us questions, damn it. Either get him out of the show or tone down his volume. You're not letting a sensible debate take place. I don't know why I waste my time with these idiots every other day. All I'm saying, the latest figures that are out by the government of allegations of human rights abuses or killings, not more than 4% of them have any merit. 96% of those figures have been proved to be allegations that are false. I'm not saying it. These are official human rights figures that have come out. Now, when you talk about what General Rawat has done and what Mr. Chatterjee is doing, Mr. Chatterjee is playing to the viewpoint of a certain section that promote this view that India today.
These are false figures. In
everything is false. If everything is false, why don't you bugger off to Pakistan? Why are you staying on in India? If everything is wrong, everything is false, go to Pakistan and lick the toes of those bloody generals. आप जाके देखिए POK में क्या हाल हो रखा है. We don't need you. We don't need you. You go to POK. Maybe you will get more accurate figures there. And then you'll realize what life is.
Kashmir with POK.
आपको सर पे चढ़ा रखा है, इसलिए ज़बान ज़्यादा हिला रहे हैं. You are just raising your bloody voice because you have been given the freedom to yak endlessly. You have no factual figures. You have no authenticated documents. Your leaders and your spokesperson are all compulsive liars.
Okay, Irfan Hafiz Loan, you will listen to Maruf Raza. Maruf Raza is trying to make a point.
Why are you allowing this traitor? Why do you allow Navika? I ask you, Navika, I ask you today. I am very agitated, Navika. I ask you on behalf of Indians, why do you allow traitors to come and take our space and give us this bullshit?
Maruf, I'll tell you why we get these people.
Lies.
I tell you why.
There is no reason. There is no reason. You get a Kashmiri who can talk facts and figures
in a debate.
I don't want these guys who are
in the hope that some of
crap.
these Kashmiri activists will understand what the mainland is thinking about. What is the real logic that this country is following.
No, Navika, it's not the hope. You are just wanting a debate, endless debate on non-issues. I don't want to debate with these guys. They don't have the facts. They're only making noise and disrupt a logical conversation. That is why I get agitated. Get me a Kashmiri who is willing to talk on facts, and I will debate with them endlessly.
You're ill-informed. You're projecting, as you know, everything.
अरे आपने पढ़ा भी है. अच्छा, लोन साहब, can you tell me the date of the UN resolution? मेरे को तारीख बता दीजिए. Just tell me the date of the UN resolution. Mr. Lone, I ask you a question. Tell me the date of the UN resolution. Tell me the date. Have you read that bloody resolution?
Resolution number 14-7, 1948.
What is the date?
Resolution. And you are talking about
what date? What date?
Date, sir, date. Maruf Raza is asking you the date. Maruf Raza is asking you the date. Tell us the date.
Number मत दीजिए मुझे. What is the date of the UN resolution?
Date तो बताइए.
तारीख बताइए.
Date तो बताइए.
अरे मैं बता रहा हूँ.
Date तो बताइए सर.
तारीख बताइए सर. तारीख बताइए.
सर year नहीं पूछ रहे. तारीख पूछ रहे.
उस साल में बड़े रेजोल्यूशन पास हुए.
1957 में एक और रेजोल्यूशन पारित किया संयुक्त राष्ट्र.
Well, Maruf, you prove your point. He doesn't know the date. He doesn't know the date.
11 too much water has flown under the bridge. Let me educate you. Let me educate you. The date of the resolution is 13th August 1948. पढ़िए जाके उसको. फिर आगे यहाँ बहस करिए. होमवर्क ही नहीं किया है, बकवास करे जा रहे हैं.
रेजोल्यूशन का नाम भी बता रहा हूँ.
Have you read the bloody resolution? Go and read it.
Let you have a debate. I challenge you.
You don't know the debate.
Okay, Irfan Hafiz Loan.
एक साल के अंदर हजारों resolution pass होते हैं. You have not read the damn resolution.
Irfan Hafiz Loan, you have spoken enough. Let's allow somebody else to speak. Dr. Fuad Halim. Dr. Fuad Halim. इरफान हफीज लोन, या तो आप चुप हो जाएं या मैं आपका वॉल्यूम डाउन कर दूंगी. प्लीज आप दूसरों की बात भी सुन लें. कश्मीर से आते हैं तो ये मतलब नहीं है कि बाकी देश की आवाज नहीं सुनेंगे. सुन लीजिए. यस, इरफान हफीज लोन, allow others to come in. Dr. Fuad Halim, my question to you is, Partha Chatterjee's article on The Wire very clearly says that it is something that Bipin Rawat did by giving a commendation card to Major Litul Gogoi. He has likened himself to General Dyer. May I please draw your attention to what happened in Jallianwala Bagh on 13th of April 1919? It was a ground that was enclosed on three sides by big walls. It was a peaceful gathering, and Dyer positioned his army at the only entrance that was open and fired at the 2,000 people who were there in that ground, killing over 900 people. When has the Indian army ever done an act of that kind? How dare anybody liken the most disciplined army in the world, which is the Indian army, to something that was done by General Dyer in 1919? It was by an occupying force like the British Army that did this. It was by General Dyer who wanted to send a message not just in Amritsar, but he said he wanted to send a message to the rest of Punjab as well. Is this something to be taken lightly, Mr. Dr. Fuad Ali?
Well, the first thing is Partho Chatterjee will defend his comments. As far as we are concerned, we would like to make two clarifications. And before I go into that, I'm saddened with the way the debates are deteriorating. The language that is being used on the debates these days are very, very unfortunate. And I think so if this language, what you call trend continues, then we are not enriching our debates. We are absolutely reducing it to a very low level. Coming to the question of what General
yes, so are the articles, sir. So is the language in the articles. Clear. Don't you think articles like Partha Chatterjee also reduce the tenor of debate in this country? In a democracy, should articles like this be written by people who are scholars and who call themselves liberals like Partha Chatterjee?
Navika, can I come in?
Navika, you know, you will be surprised to know that the do I need to commit, or with everybody will interrupt?
Yes, Dr. Fuad Ali, complete your point before I go across to RSN Singh. Complete your point.
Yeah, but RSN Singh wants to jump in, I know that. But clearly, this one, it won't be a surprise to you, Navika, that the RSS doesn't have a single comment against the British Indian Army and General Dyer. Let's be very clear. A second point is there, the Kashmir situation at this point of time, only 7% of the population have participated in the democratic exercise. Those 7% people have saluted the Constitution of India, they have respected our democracy, and they have made their ways to the polling booth. Over here we have a contest where somebody is saying, Farooq Dar is saying that I went to the polling booth to vote, and the election commission, the state government ruled by the BJP, the central government ruled by the BJP, has yet not said that Farooq Ahmed Dar has not cast his vote. In that situation, it is an unfortunate departure by the Indian Army to give a commendation card. Now, very clearly, the commendation card given to Major Little Gogoi has not been given because of that particular incident.
Dr. Fuad Ali, stop right there. Dr. Fuad Ali, stop right there.
Let me finish.
This is an unfortunate departure. Let me ask you. Let me ask you a simple question. What would you have wanted Major Little Gogoi to do? Would you have wanted Major Little Gogoi to fire ammunition from his guns? Did you want that the situation where 1,200 pelters were throwing stones at him,
the general of the Indian Army,
officials of the election commission whose lives were in danger, where there were two J&K police commandos, where there were army personnel? Did you want that rounds of ammunition, AK-47s, should have been fired? Or do you think an innovation that was designed by Major
not
Little
a person
Gogoi
to judge
worked
that.
much better?
I would have liked the general of the Indian Army to have waited for the BJP government's investigation to have been completed. You see, when the army gives a commendation, a medal and a recognition, then it has to be unblemished. This is the first time that the Indian Army has departed from traditions and gone ahead with a commendation card while an investigation is still on. The BJP government should have relieved Major Little Gogoi by completing and closing its investigation. The election commission should have come forth and clarified that question as to whether Farooq Ahmed Dar was a voter or not a voter, has he cast his vote or not. The government of India should have been proactive on that. There has been a departure on military traditions, and we are concerned about that.
GVL and Maru both want to come in. GVL to you first,
this is something that is going to stay.
Should the army have waited for the investigation to be over, because the investigation would have taken forever? Or do you think when a court of inquiry was already looking into the matter, the court of inquiry, then the army court of inquiry is supreme? And the army court of inquiry has given a clean chit to Major Litul Gogoi. There is a clean chit from the army court of inquiry. So what questions are you raising? GVL Narasimha Rao, respond to Dr. Fuad Ali.
No, I think the CPIM wishes to believe stone pelters and separatists in Kashmir, but they do not want to listen to their own army chief.
GVL, please give me a statement on General Dyer by the RSS.
Degraded
the Indian army prior to independence on their role. You please give a comment, give a document of the RSS. Did the RSS condemn the Jallianwala Bagh incident? GVS, tell the nation, quote a document. You are an organization that has not condemned.
Fawad Ali, from which planet ever come? When Jallianwala happened, there was no RSS.
Prior to independence. Please don't talk about the Indian army.
What kind of stupidity, what kind of arguments is he making? There was no RSS when General Dyer did this.
He doesn't want to.
Don't keep on playing that broken record.
CPM has become a China-Pakistan mouthpiece. CPM today stands for China-Pakistan mouthpiece. You want to stand up with the separatists because you want China to have an easy passage in
please
CPEC.
provide one document where you all have condemned the atrocities of the Indian army under British rule against the Indian public. One document, one word. GVL, one word I'm asking you for. I'm asking you for just one word. Give me a date, one word from an RSS document.
China-Pakistan mouthpiece.
No, you can accuse me. I'm asking you to quote your own documents, GVL.
No, but why do you believe
prior to 15th August 1947 against the Indian army under British rule?
No, but talk about today. You stood with the Chinese.
By your silence, you have supported General Dyer's activity.
Ratan Sharda wants to come in. Ratan Sharda wants to come in.
Today, you all do not have a single word against General Dyer.
I am appalled.
Incident.
I am appalled at the utter falsehood that Fawad Ali is continuously spewing now. Let me first of all educate him. There was no RSS when this Jallianwala Bagh took place. Secondly, he doesn't know that RSS people, scores of RSS people died saving people in 1947. RSS people died saving Srinagar airport, because of which military could land in Kashmir. He has no knowledge about this CPM guy who supported China in 1942. Supported these people who got Stalin, Lenin, Mao, presided over 8 million deaths. They are their gods, and he's crying over 1% tied to a jeep. What kind of education have you learned? You are a person who doesn't believe in Indian nation as a nation. Now let me make some valid points. Will you stop repeating falsehood continuously? Do you know that Dr. Hedgewar was shadowed by British? Do you know special law was passed in 1932 to stop RSS from expanding the law which is still using across India? Are you aware of this?
I am aware of that, and he abandoned that to set up the RSS, which is why the RSS doesn't have an anti-British position.
That's not the way to conduct. He was talking of lowering standard of debate. This fellow keeps on shouting like a street side guy, and he wants debate to be better. He knows there was no RSS. Will Fawad Ali, you stop your falsehood? Will you let me speak? First of all, I will not like to divert from the debate that is happening here. I have no worry at all what RSS said or did. I have enough historical proofs to tell how RSS struggled and fought against British. So I don't have to prove right now, because right now, today's question is, why is Marxist supporting these people who compare our military to the General Dyer? Let me come to the history. These people do not believe in nationalism. They do not believe India is a single nation. These people believe the British welded together a nation which was very desperate. It was multinational identity. This is their theory. They believe in Marx, who criticize Indian culture. No, let me finish it. No, it is not right. It is not right. Navika, I have heard all this calumny of these people. Let me complete the whole argument. So these...
I'm getting some breaking news. I'm coming back to you, Ratan Sharda. Well, the latest information we are getting is we fished out another article written by Partha Chatterjee, who had earlier rationalized Burhan Wani's protests. In fact, he had questioned the killing of Burhan Wani, slammed the state for oppressing Kashmiris. This is what Partha Chatterjee's views are. Ratan Sharda, he even had problems with the protests, with the killing of Burhan Wani. Now, who is a liberal who actually supports terror ideas and terror ideology and terrorists like Burhan Wani? And that's the point we are making, that are these liberals, the so-called liberal brigade here, writing such articles, giving such speeches only because they want to play into the hands of Pakistan, Ratan Sharda?
Allowed me any space to make a cogent argument. I have listened to fatherly nonsense continuously. You didn't allow me to make a decent point. I am saying the whole point is the same crowd, whether it's Afzal Guru, whether it's Tiger Memon, they have human rights. Military has no human rights. Police has no human rights. Kashmiri Hindus have no right. This alone shouting for last half an hour, does he realize he was presiding over 4 lakh Kashmiris kicked out of Kashmir, raped and violated against? Where was he at that time? Where was his tears at that time? Did he see the reports at that time? Do these people have no right to live in Kashmir? Did people have no right? This lone and this fatherly who play with the language, do they realize that they have never supported Indian state through their history? Do they know that Nehru invited RSS to Republic Day parade?
So
do they know that Indian paid with their lives to save people during partition? To save why are you supporting breaking India? Please tell me.
On what ground? After the death of Burhan Wani, what did Partha Chatterjee write? One minute, Dr. Fuad Halim.
All over the world.
Dr. Fuad Halim, calm down. You want to raise the standard of the debate, then don't speak over others, Dr. Fuad Halim.
He's fine with...
Yes, Dr. Fuad Halim, allow Colonel RSN Singh, who hasn't spoken yet, to come in.
They have not one village developed, and these people are playing urban Naxals to their people sitting in Maoist areas. These urban Naxals need to be put down. They need to be exposed.
Absolutely. But
there are people sitting on a
here,
panel purely
Ratan Sharda, here what...
supporting this underground movements across India who have not developed anything in India, have let people rot in poverty.
I beseech you to hear what Burhan... One minute. After the death of Burhan Wani and the protests that followed, Partha Chatterjee compared the incident to the Alipur conspiracy case, where he describes the mass anguish during Kanai Lal Datta's freedom fighter's funeral procession, similar to that of the mobilization in the death of Burhan Wani. Can a freedom fighter and Burhan Wani's death be compared by somebody like Partha Chatterjee, RSN Singh? Is this taking your liberal argument just too far?
No, I mean, let me put it in very simple Hindi कि Dyer ने खून बहाया और मेजर को गोगोई ने खून बचाया. One spilled blood, one saved blood. So, I mean, does it require too much of intellect, I mean, to understand this kind of a thing? And the land where he is sitting, Navika, that land of America, and there's such a benign security environment they have. They have Canada, a Pacific state like Canada in the north. They have Mexico in the south, Pacific on one side, Atlantic on the other side. And yet, the land from where this man is getting dollars from has bombed from Iran to Afghanistan to Japan. This man has no conscience for that. And look at our security environment. When the British left us, there was this buffer state of Tibet. It disappeared. So we have more than 3,400 kilometers borders with China, a hostile state. We have 3,000 kilometers borders with another hostile state, Pakistan. And then we are into this process of nation building. And look at the achievement of the Indian Army. In this short time, we have not only ensured the territorial integrity of India, we have also ensured the territorial integrity of Sri Lanka, we have ensured the territorial integrity of Maldives. And yet, this man, if he tries and speaks a word against the American armed forces, he will literally be spanked. He will literally be spanked, and Trump is very liberal with his words. I don't know what adjectives he is going to use for him. So for God and Mr. Fawad Ali, tell me one thing. Indian Army में inquiry होना चाहिए था. Do you condemn the PLA action in Tiananmen Square? Do you condemn killing of 8 crore people by Mao in China? I want a categorical answer to you. And my third question is that was China the aggressor in 1962 war? And let's see you answering these questions. Let's see you answering these questions today. And it will be clear which side your loyalties lie.
RSN Singh, I think so, has very little ammunition and fodder on the Kashmir question. Because the simple question that RSN Singh should be asking the government of India.
अरे भैया मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, आप इंडियन आर्मी के ह्यूमन राइट्स रिकॉर्ड को आप क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं. मैं आपसे एक सिंपल सा सवाल पूछा हूँ कि do you Fawad Ali condemn? Do you Fawad Ali condemn the PLA action in Tiananmen Square?
आपने तो मेरा सवाल ही नहीं सुने. नहीं, RSN से you have not even heard my question. My question was very categorical and very clear that if the Indian Army chooses to give a commendation card while an investigation is on, this is a departure from previous.
Absolutely, you think Indian Army will wait for the court of inquiry and the decision to be given?
Now, second question. Let me finish. Thank you for agreeing, RSN Singh. Let me finish.
Today this man
took this action that I asked,
took this action to protect democracy. Tomorrow he may have to take this action to protect some innocent civilians.
Allow the chain of command at the lower rung to take this behavior as something as innovative, then I am concerned.
आप अपने CPM का chain of command का bother कीजिए. I don't know where you come in chain of command, but then in your chain of command is Sitaram Yechuri. In your chain of command at the top is Sitaram Yechuri, who goes knocking at Gilani's door कि चाय पिलाओ. अरे कलकत्ते में चाय नहीं देते क्या उसको? Don't you give him tea?
कश्मीर के मुद्दे पर बोलने का शब्दों का अभाव है, तथ्य के अभाव है. आप कश्मीर से क्यों भाग रहे हैं?
Was China aggressor in 1962 war or not?
इंडियन आर्मी ने क्या कहा? उस पर
Partho Chatterjee, and this question goes out to John Dayal. This question goes out to John Dayal. Let me get in John Dayal as well. John Dayal, let me ask you a simple question. Partho Chatterjee is a professor of anthropology in the Middle Eastern and South Asian and African Studies in Columbia University. Now he sits in the United States. He sits in New York. He gets a salary in dollars. Has he ever questioned the United States Army? Has he any questions for the Vietnam War and the Operation Ranch Hand? And over 4 decades after Operation Ranch Hand, has he ever questioned the entire issue of Agent Orange that was used? Any questions on that? Or when you get money from United States, you will not ask any questions about the United States, but you will talk about comparing the Indian Army Chief to General Dyer. Is that the freedom of speech that some of these people want when they are earning salaries in dollars, John Dyer?
15 seconds only of your time. Let me read from the article that has triggered this debate. Professor says, it would be unfair to suggest that General Rawat's motives are the same as those of Dyer. Full stop. You people have not read it.
We have read it, sir.
And therefore, why are you ranting?
We have read it. Have you read the sentence at the end? Have you read the sentence at the end?
I have read the sentence.
Okay, so what has he said? One can only hope that as a nation we have not reached the edge of a slippery slope. Otherwise, our General Dyer moment could prove to be the precursor to a General Ayub Khan moment, or it is the Yahya Khan or Zia ul Haq who will be the preferred role models. Where is he taking the discourse to? Have you read the article? Don't tell us. Don't tell us that we don't understand what Partha Chatterjee is trying to say. A man who actually eulogizes...
Let me speak. What I'm saying is...
He eulogizes
where
it
all comes from.
Forget that one. What I'm saying is...
No,
one of the great things about the army is that it is under civilian control. The army is not supreme. The civilian government is supreme. The army saves the borders. But the civilian government is the boss. And don't anybody forget it. Pakistan, the army rules. In India, the army does not rule. A basic and fundamental question about earning in dollars, ask every NRI
armed forces and expect them to protect you.
Stop earning dollars.
Dr. John Dayal, on every occasion, Dr. John Dayal, you will demoralize the armed forces and expect them to protect you. Are they your servants?
Colonel, you got it wrong.
Are the armed forces your personal servants? That you every single occasion you use to demoralize them and expect them to protect you? They're not your servants.
I expect the Commander-in-Chief.
You need to be a little more respectful.
Commander-in-Chief to protect me.
You cannot say the
Commander-in-Chief is the commander of the forces. The Commander-in-Chief is the commander of the forces. And those forces protect you, General Dyer. It's not the President of India who goes and stands at the borders.
Don't be under this illusion.
No, freedom of speech does not mean that you speak anything outlandish, outrageous, shocking.
I expect
that is not the implication of
while you write as a citizen, you expect the Commander-in-Chief to protect you. As a citizen, will you write the words that Partha Chatterjee has written? The man who gets his salary in US dollars?
I won't speak like you. Why should I write like him? I won't even speak like you.
Advanced years of your
so you are saying have you ever spent time with the Indian Army Jawans along the border? Have you ever gone and seen how their days and nights are spent on their
Google. I was a reporter in the early 70s.
Yes, a long time ago, sir. A long time ago.
I was in Sri Lanka.
A long time ago.
I was the first one in North Sri Lanka. I have spent time with him.
Have you gone to the Jammu and Kashmir border, sir?
I don't treat him like to polish my
I know why they permitted you in North Sri Lanka. I know Sri Lanka like the back of my palm. And I know how you were there and others were not there.
I also.
I know that entire game very well.
I also know. Expose it, print a book. Your next book
I know how you were there.
Okay, GVL Narasimha Rao also wants to come in. GVL Narasimha Rao.
Just like Vardarajan. Just like Vardarajan was the first one to, interview Prachanda.
No.
Similarly, you
write your
GVL Narasimha Rao. Yes, Maruf, I'm coming to you, but GVL Narasimha Rao first. GVL Narasimha Rao first.
You are getting my
hint. I will not say anything. Do you know where this is all coming from? Do you know you are dealing with Team Manishankar Iyer? This is the same bogus track 2 gang? Do you know this? I think the editor of The Wire, I think is a track 2 diplomacy Team Manishankar Iyer's member. They all have an agenda. This entire gang has an agenda. So do not think they are all isolated
to have
cases.
Peace in the state.
All these people,
to have peace on the border, to have peace in the subcontinent. What a lovely agenda.
A conspiracy to create a pro-Pak kind of atmosphere. They want to create dictate their own
a conspiracy to create peace.
They want to
what a lovely conspiracy.
Okay, gentlemen, hold your thoughts. I'm getting some breaking news. Suddenly the media has woken up. The Wire founder Siddharth Vardarajan now has woken up, and he says instead of condemning the anti-India tirade by Partha Chatterjee, he has actually said that he has accused the media of holding bogus debate. Is this a bogus debate? Maruf Raza, is this a abusive debate? Somebody calls our army chief.
Navika.
Are those words that are
Somebody who calls our army chief, our soldiers, a chief of 1 million soldiers, he is likened to General Dyer, and you call it a bogus debate? You call it a bogus debate just because you call yourself liberals?
That is a lie. He has not used those words.
You probably do not understand what he's saying in that article, because you are willing to give him a lot of room. Yes, Maruf Raza. Maruf Raza.
Navika, I'll just take 2-3 minutes. One is that I know Siddharth personally very well, but I don't share the same platform with him as far as these issues are concerned. He's on the other side of the fence. I am very clearly on the other side. I am with the forces. I am with the army chief. And I'll tell you why. Now, there have been various assertions in favor of the army chief. There have been some criticism. But I think nobody can deny 3 or 4 facts. Fact 1, the Indian army has always perplexed foreign academics and observers that despite so many opportunities coming its way since independence, it has refused to intervene in political process, and it will never intervene because it has an ethos which respects civilian authority. The second point to understand is that the army chief can commend an officer regardless of whether an inquiry or not is on, because he doesn't work on a whim and a fancy. The army is a very institutionalized body. When all decisions are taken after due deliberation, there is nothing that happens like in yesteryears when somebody would do it on a wink and a smile. It's very clearly a thought-through decision, and it has meant to have several ramifications by which what he did. I support what he did. The third point to understand is that as far as the assertions of Mr. Chatterjee, Mr. Dayal has quoted one sentence, but you very rightly corrected him by trying to say that we are on a possible slippery slope. Now, this is an argument that has been weaved time and again whenever the army has come into public discourse and public life. But why do we not ask ourselves the question, did the soldier volunteer out of his barracks to go and battle the stone throwers and the militants? It was the presidential authority that ordered him to go in aid of civil authority and stem the riot and stem the situation. He didn't go out and said, give me a new battlefield. He dislikes it. And the Clausewitzian triangle where there was the state, the soldier and the enemy, that has been replaced by the soldier having to battle the enemy within. He has no choice. The army's responsibility is to defend the integrity of the country. If it is threatened from within, it will fight from within in its own way in trying to be as true to the purpose. Now, don't blame the army by calling Bijbehara and Gandarbal massacres. They have cases in point where the army was not involved. It was the paramilitary. The Indian army has a terrific record by any standards of adhering to the norms. Now, if there are things that go wrong, they can go wrong anywhere.
Compare it to what happened in Israel. Compare it to the United States Army. Compare it to any other army. And the Indian army is a disciplined force. In fact, Alimuddin Khan,
the Americans have done in Afghanistan and Iraq, what they've done in Guantanamo Bay, ask them to ask Chatterjee also to write. Then we will respect him for his independence of thought. And maybe Siddharth can send him an email to do that, since he is a correspondent.
But there is a separate forum for an AFSPA debate, John Dayal. Don't bring in AFSPA debate into the debate of calling the Indian Army Chief General Dyer, comparing him to General Dyer. That's a completely separate debate. Let me get in Alimuddin Khan. Alimuddin Khan
sanctioned it. You talk of civil authority, the parliament of the country.
Yeah, so don't hold the army responsible. Alimuddin Khan, I want to ask
Maruf Sahab, I am agreeing with you.
So it answers your question, Mr. Dayal.
I am agreeing with you.
Thank you, sir.
I am agreeing with you.
Okay, Alimuddin Khan, I want to ask you a simple question. It was the Indian army that during the natural calamities, during the floods, 1 lakh people were rescued by the Indian Army in the 2014 floods. 35,000 members of the armed forces were pressed into service for rescue and rehab operations. 1,237 tons of relief materials were dropped by the Air Force and more than 930 sorties were undertaken by them. 19 relief camps were set up across the state which accommodated more than 20,000 people. All this was done by the army. Will you still call the Indian Army and the Indian Army chief who leads an army of 1 million people somebody and compare him to somebody like General Dyer?
Navika ji, today I landed in Badgaon district in Srinagar airport, and it gave me a feeling that Major Gogoi, who saved so many lives without shedding one drop of blood or even firing one bullet, case against him is still on. That is very painful. Another thing is the drama BJP government is with the PDP doing here, going after Hurriyat people. If they are really after them, why they don't take them to the Tihar jail in Delhi? Why they are putting them house arrest in Kashmir?
No,
or why they don't throw them out to the Kashmir?
No, tell us what is your stand on separatists.
Why they don't do this?
Tell us what is your stand on Manishankar.
This is the reality.
Why is
this is the reality.
Why is he standing up with the separatists?
This is the reality. Why you are not questioning FIR against Major Gogoi?
Why are you acting as dalals?
What is stopping you?
Why are you acting as dalals?
Because the BJP PDP marriage, you cannot end. And that marriage has created havoc, and that marriage has created chaos in the Kashmir.
No, tell me about Manishankar Aya.
You have given stone to the Kashmir youth.
Stop these crocodile tears. Stop asking questions. You have tough questions to answer.
You have to take steps. I am challenging Pakistan.
Why have you not taken action against Manishankar Aya? What action has the Congress taken against Manishankar Aya?
India will win this war. India will get the POK as soon as possible. You people only will talk.
Navika, I think the comparison with General Dyer is completely nonsensical. These people are acting actually as Jaychants. I think all those who are writing such articles, standing up with Pakistan, they are acting as Jaychants. They are stabbing in the back of India and ganging up with the enemy. I make a very
That's right. You hit the nail on the head, GVL Narasimha Rao. Are these people who write such articles, who compare the Indian Army chief to General Dyer, are they traitors? Are they really traitors? Is something that they need to introspect about. The question is, for liberalism, for democracy, for liberal ideas, for freedom of speech, do you need to become seditious? Do you need to become subversive? That's a question each of these liberals need to ask themselves, because when it comes to the Indian Army, when it comes to our soldiers, we should know how and where to draw the line, because army se gaddari is something that this nation will not tolerate. And Mr. Partha Chatterjee, who is sitting in the Columbia University getting a salary in the US dollars, should question what is the human rights record. देश से गद्दारी तो है, आर्मी और देश एक ही है. आपके माइंड में देश और आर्मी अलग है, हमारे माइंड में देश और आर्मी सेम है. देश से गद्दारी और आर्मी से गद्दारी देश से गद्दारी है. That is what the liberal voices should understand. Should they look at the human rights records of other armies like the Israeli army and the United States Army? That's the question they have to answer. Thank you very much.